I want to talk about my success with Tinder. The boy I'm currently with and living with in this lovely apartment, I met him on Tinder. I know. I am here today because my most popular video, it's almost at 3,000 views. I'm like, 3,000, oh my God. I know other people are getting 3,000 views in like a minute, but to me, 3,000 is meaningful. Well, considering most of my videos get about 200 views or so, I wanted to do almost like a pseudo follow-up on my most popular video, which is called My Opinion on Why Dating in New York City is So Tough. And at that time, I just felt like I was striking the heck out when it came to love and feeling like what I was putting out was being given back to me. And I think that it's a very common thing to experience in the dating world. And it doesn't feel like it is going both ways until you meet somebody where it actually truly is going both ways. I am the Upper West Side Harlem theater major that met a tech manager at a startup company, and I'm now dating him from Tinder. What? But it doesn't feel like that anymore. I barely even think about it, honestly. But the couple people that I've talked to about meeting people off of Tinder, they were very curious how I screen people before I meet them. And yes, we live in a world where you see somebody online that looks cute, they could look like that, or they could be totally catfishing you. And I wanted to share some things that I have done over the years, because I used Tinder on and off for almost 8 years, I think. Like, I would use Tinder, then I would get in a relationship for 2 years, then I would use it again, then I'd get in a relationship for 2 years, not with anybody off of Tinder before. So I wanted to talk about things that I have learned over using Tinder for a very, very long time, and the success that I have found in meeting people that are trustworthy and kind and link up with me. So let's go from ground zero, which would be you download the app, you upload your profile, all that good stuff, you start swiping. What do you look for? Whether it be male, female, what have you. What I would always look for was somebody who looked kind. And I know that's a little instinctual per se, but people that look kind have a look to them, don't they? Right? So I would look for people who looked kind. Sometimes I'd look for people that had a little like mischief behind their eyes, just because usually the mischief, and especially in pictures, if you're like, ooh, or like doing something goofy or weird, they have a brain, which means they're intelligent. So maybe it's not necessarily mischief, but it looks like there's more behind their eyes than just being like, ooh, I'm sexy, wanna touch my, you know what I mean? Then the next thing I look for is their bio. I looked at, because they don't have Tinder anymore, but I would look at what information they provided, because it's very common. People like overshare it. It's paragraph after paragraph. And so what that says to me, psychologically, like, that's just somebody who will not stop, like who has a very like, I need to talk, I need to communicate. For me, that's not what I need. Like, I need somebody where there's a back and forth. And people that had blank profiles, like actual underneath, I was like, oh, it never really spoke to me. The next thing would be their photos. I always would look for people that were pretty much fully clothed, always. Nobody was suggesting anything sexual with their photos. This is all just to weed out to actually get a relationship out of Tinder, right? Because if you're looking for just a quick, you know, then by all means, the people that have their shirts off, they're pulling down their pants, they're looking at the camera like they wanna like do bad things to the camera, like, great, you found your person, right? If you wanna look for somebody that you think that respects themselves and respects themselves and respects you, then a lot of the times, most times that I found, people that were clothed were the ones that were the best options. Then, of course, you know, you look at their face, you look at whatever, you look at their friends, you look at their family, all that good stuff. And if you end up swiping right and you match, whoa, okay, let's go. Then before meeting someone, because I have a couple friends that they will swipe on people, they'll match, and then they want to meet up that same day, and I'm like, you don't know this person. You don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know why you're giving them your time. Like, your time is valuable, so take the time to make sure that they're worth your time, and don't let them mess around with your dang heart. You gotta screen people. I think that's really, really important. And it also shows that where your head is at, that if you're screening them, they're not gonna treat you like a quick done piece of meat. They're like, oh, this person is like, this is a real human right here. And it also, I think, labels you as more like dateable versus like fuckable. You know what I mean? The main questions that I think you need to ask are, well, of course you don't just like rattle off these questions. I think it's important to just kind of weave these into the conversation somehow and see how the answers come out. Like, are you close with your family? Like, find some way to bring that up. Like, oh, are you close with your mom? Like, where are they? Where do you live? Do you visit often? Like, just getting some of that in there lets you know their interpersonal relationship with their family. And if you like how they respond to that, then that's like step one, right? If they're close to their mother, they love their mother, they love their brother, sister, very close, they visit as much as they can. I think that's really endearing. That was like a positive for me. The other thing was like, what are your goals and aspirations, right? So if they're currently serving at a restaurant somewhere, but you're like, what are your goals and aspirations? And they tell you this, and I'm doing this, and I hustle on the side and I do this thing. That is more of like, oh, to me, rather than somebody just saying, oh no, that's just what I do. I don't know what, I have no direction in life. Like, does that match with you? And so you get to decide based on their goals and aspirations, are they heading towards the same place that you are? It seems simple, but it is very important. Do they always want to live where they are now? Are they willing to change? Do they want children? Do they not? Are they into marriage? Are they not? Like, yo, you gotta ask these questions. You gotta ask the tough hitting stuff. If you're just going in to date and you don't know what you want, you're not doing either person a favor. You have to go into it knowing what you want. And if you don't know what you want, you need to communicate that as well. I would have conversations with people for 2 weeks at least before actually meeting up with them. I would just be like, no, let's not rush this. Like, I need a little bit more time to get to know you if you don't mind. I would love to meet up, but like, let's just get to know each other a little better first. Most of the time, anybody that was respectful would respect that. And nobody would really say like, fuck you, you aren't worth it. They would just be like, they would either say, you know, not for me, I'm not looking for anything, and they would go on your merry way, or they'd be like, absolutely, let's talk, what do you want to know? That's mostly what I ran into. And the other thing would be like, I would ask about religion and like, how were you brought up? Of course, weaving this into the conversation. I know it sounds kind of insane, but I think that's important. If they're super religious and they can never be with somebody who's actually religious, then there you go. You have your answer. Don't waste your time. Like, don't waste your gosh darn time, you know? Oh, I would ask a lot about like food, like what's your favorite food? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? Just to see if there's any common ground when it comes to just like entertainment. Like, do they go to the gym every day? Like, is that something that you like? For me, that was wonderful in a partner. Like, I love an active person that goes to the gym all the time. That's something that I find great. Some people are like, oh, like that's not for me. Don't want to spend my time doing that. For me, that was a plus. That was a pro rather than a con. So I have created all these answers for myself about what were pros and what were cons in a partner, a potential partner. And also how they listen, how they respond, how they answer questions, how thoughtful they are. Do they ask questions back? Do they actually remember what you tell them over these like 2 weeks that you're getting to know them? Like, this is all important stuff that then translates into an actual relationship down the line. And if you cannot establish that baseline of like, oh, I really need somebody who listens to me and remembers what I say and what I like and what I don't like, if that's something you need, you can figure it out in 2 weeks. So it's like speed dating. So the speed part of Tinder is the swipe, right? So you're like, I like you, swipe, right? Then the actual like beginning dating, I do it on my on my phone so that I can figure who they are. I can link up to their Instagram. I never do Facebook, just because I think Facebook is too interwoven with your actual friend group and your people and where you live and what you do. It's just a lot more personal of a social media platform, whereas my Instagram is a lot more like, this is me, hi, and has way less about my family, has way less about where I live, where I've gone to school. So somebody who might not have the right intentions doesn't have access to that information. So I would always direct people to Instagram. And if they have an Instagram and you can see that they have friends, you can see that they have a relationship with their family, you can kind of see all of that, but you can't really like stalk them and see their whole history, because Facebook, I feel like, holds so much history. So I would always direct people to Instagram. Very helpful for me. And people that were willing to show me their Instagram and kind of like let me into their world, I could see if they actually had a girlfriend, if they were recently out of a relationship. I could see, like, you can go into their tagged photos and see a lot of that. You can kind of just like gauge a person, because if you're just swiping random people on Tinder, you don't have somebody to vouch for you that is in real life. Like, you can't ask your friend like, oh, all the questions that you would normally ask, because there's nobody. They're just a bloop, they're just a person. Their whole world is over there. Your whole world is over here. So you got to do some research, because you don't have this like this medial person that helps you navigate this person's history. You got to figure it out. And if you figure it out and you decide that it's worth going on the date, then go on the fucking date. Make it like a cute place, make it public. Never get together with somebody like in your home. I wouldn't let them drop you off at home. I would just keep it, they're there, you're here, like, you know? And eventually down the line, if you start dating them, then they can absolutely know where you live and drop you off home and you can date. But I think the initial meeting, you really gotta screen people. You really do. I went through a phase where what I was looking for was not a relationship. So I found people that kind of just like entertained me for a little bit. But I was very communicative about that after getting out of a relationship and figuring out when they were last tested and I'm using protection and all that kind of stuff. So I know seems like common sense, but you just have to be smart and you have to be communicative about what you need and what you want. And life is too short to just go with somebody random that you found on the internet. Like, if you find somebody random on the internet, aka Tinder, you better screen the shit out of them. Like, really, really look at them and really look at their history and really question them and really get to know them before you bring them into your life, because they are like an anomaly in your friend group. They don't have any connections to your history, to your family, to your hometown, to, you know, so you gotta really be careful and be choosy. And I'm here on the other side of that with a success story. After all these years of looking online, looking in person, looking in my life for someone that matched me, it took a long time, and I've dated a lot of people. I've been in 3 or 4 2-year relationships, and I've been in countless shorter ones, like countless. And I recommend to you, I highly, highly recommend to you, date as many people as you can. Date as many as you can, because then you know what you don't want and you know what you want. You get to learn what you can live with, what you love, and what you don't. If you don't do that, you don't know. And you can end up with somebody down the line that you think that that's like the end all be all, but if you haven't dated around and you haven't gotten to know yourself and what you need in a relationship, then I'm sorry, like that's how you end up in difficult situations down the line with a partner that you don't match. So you really need to do the work up front in finding what you need in a partner and how you function in a relationship. And you need to really figure out who the other person needs to be like. And eventually you're gonna find a person who you don't have to change. That's what blew my goddamn mind, is I found someone who fit that. Like, what? Like, after all this time, I was like, I need this, I need that, like somebody that can understand my craziness and all this other shit, and is athletic and also loves food at the same time and works really hard and is funny but also serious and intelligent and can handle my like emotional, like, what? I found somebody. I really did. His name's Eric, by the way. He's really wonderful. He is all of those things. And my mom and grandma have met him and love him. My friends that have met him love him. And it's just like, I really got lucky, and I don't want to speak for him, but he's definitely told me that he feels lucky that he found me. We were both just two people looking for love, and we happened to just really match. And a lot of that was, we had both dated a ton of people. Like, he had gone on so many dates prior to me. He was in a very long-term relationship before me, and we both had put in that work prior to meeting each other, that, you know, New York City, I found this guy. What the heck? So that is what I recommend to you. So with all of that being said, you know, to form a conclusion for you, be picky. It's okay to be frustrated. Be communicative. Ask questions and really listen to the answers, and try to search for what you're looking for, but be open to change. Be flexible, of course. Not everybody's going to be exactly what you need. People are out there. You can find amazing people on Tinder or any dating app, and to just be aware that they are likely going to be a literal stranger, that you take the necessary precautions to just make sure they're who they say they are, and you introduce them into your life in a proper way. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe down below to see more videos. I'm gonna be posting more videos. Renegade, renegade, right? Something like that. Wait, how do they do it? I don't fucking know. Don't ask me. Okay, bye.